Welcome back to Not So Pro Packer Talk, where we only talk about the Packers. Guys, today we're going to be talking about that terrible, gut wrenching loss against the Vikings last week. Guys, if you watched last week's video, you know that I predicted the Packers to lose this game. I did not think we would sweep the Vikings. I knew this was going to be the game that we would lose to them. They always win against them. They always beat us once a year, and this is the time they did it. The thing about the loss is I did not think that we were going to play that badly, defensively and offensively. I knew there was going to be a little rust on us just because we never play our starters in the preseason, but I did not expect that much rust. So today I'm going to be breaking down what I saw defensively, offensively. We're not going to talk about special teams because actually they're the only unit that actually looked good on Sunday. I'm very surprised by that. But let's go ahead and talk about the defensive side. Defensively, Justin Jefferson just completely embarrassed our defense. Him alone embarrassed our defense. It was bad. Gosh, I can't how do you let a guy get that many yards? Freaking Justin Jefferson caught 9 passes for 184 yards, averaging 20.4 yards per catch with 2 touchdowns. How are we going to allow that to happen? That is not okay. Gosh, man, I knew he was going to catch some passes. 100%, Justin Jefferson is just that good. Our defensive secondary is good, but I knew he was going to catch a few passes and embarrass us a little bit. But for him to just completely take over the game like that, I was not expecting that. So hats off to Justin Jefferson. He's going to continue to do that for a long time in his career. But the biggest part of our defense is Joe Barry, our defensive coordinator, wants to play this soft zone defense where people are playing off the player 5-6 yards back, or corners, and then we're playing the soft zone where we're not really attacking them. I do not agree with that. We should be playing press man, in my opinion. Now we can't play man every single play. We got to mix in some zone in there. But press man is where I believe our defense strives. Jair Alexander, he can cover the best wide receiver on any other team. Eric Stokes, Russell Douglas, they thrive in man coverage, especially press coverage. Last year, that's where they both did well at. Eric Stokes was one of the best corners as far as ranked in press coverage, allowing very, very few yards. And then Russell Douglas, that's what he does best, playing close to that guy, and then being able to pick off those passes and playing aggressive. That's what he does best, not the safe zone thing. So that's what I'm very disappointed in, and that's what Joe Barry wants to do this season. Hopefully he learns his lesson and strives away from that. But from what I've heard so far for the coaching staff is they're not going to strive away from this anytime soon. So hopefully it ends up working, but I do not think this is where our cornerbacks thrive at. So I'm not very happy with that. Now, as far as our safeties, this is the worst our safeties have ever looked, especially Adrian Amos. If you look at PFF's grades for all safeties this past week, they graded all of them. Both Darnell Savage and Adrian Amos fall in the bottom 4 of all safeties last week. That is crazy. Darnell Savage, I would expect it a week or two, just him looking bad, because I think I have said that it is our weak point. Darnell Savage, he's good, but not as great as everybody else. But Adrian Amos has been one of the best safeties these past 3 or 4 years in coverage. I did not expect this from him. I know he will have a bounce back game next week against the Bears. He's going to play very, very well, because you will not see this from Adrian Amos twice. I would be very surprised. But as far as the other than that, our front 7 looked pretty good. We only had 1 sack, which was Rashawn Gary, but we were constantly getting pressure on Kirk Cousins, which is good. It's just whenever we get pressure, Justin Jefferson was open, and it was a big play. But great play from all of our front 7, in my opinion. John Reed, Kenny Clark had a big play. But at the end of the day, Rashawn Gary is probably one of our best defensive players right now because he's just constantly getting to the quarterback, constantly getting pressures. It's really incredible. As far as defensively, they needed a lot of improvement from this past week. They cannot let Justin Jefferson player just take over the game. Now, as far as offensively, I already talked about on Monday the Christian Watson job, so I'm not going to get into that again. But offensively, our biggest problem is we need to commit to the run more. We had 18 carries, and that's it, compared to I think it was 39. Yeah, 39 pass attempts. 18 carries to 39 pass attempts. That is not okay. Not especially with this offense that we are dealing with currently. Maybe once we figure out this wide receiver situation and we have some real guys out there to throw to, maybe then we can be more pass heavy. But we need to commit to the run early on in the game. Biggest part of this is Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones only got 5 carries. He's our number one running back, and we're paying him like it. For him to have 5 carries is unexcusable. In those 5 carries, he had 49 yards, averaging 9.8 yards per carry. How are you gonna a guy that's averaging 9.8 yards per carry and not only give him the ball 5 times? Come on, man. They were also AJ Dillon, Aaron Jones, good pass catchers for us that game. AJ Dillon with 5 catches, 46 yards. Aaron Jones with 3 catches with 27 yards. Very much like that. We need to continue giving them the ball out of the backfield as far as pass catchers. I think that's very good for us. But for the carries, we need to commit to the run more. I know there's a lot of offensive line struggles right now because Bakhtiari and Jenkins are still coming off of their ACL tears. From what I've heard, they're not going to be playing this next week against the Bears. But it's the Bears, so hopefully that shouldn't be too concerning. But we need them back, and for this offensive line to be whole. Also, as far as offensive line, Zach Tom needs to be in this game. Zach Tom is our guard, but I think he can play tackle also very, very well. But as soon as when our offensive lineman went down and we had to put Zach Tom in the game, once we put him in, the run started working. The pass blocking was better. Everything started rolling for us. That's what we need out of him. We need to play him in our starting 5, in my opinion. Jack Hansen wasn't it. Dude got destroyed consistently over at right guard. We need Zach Tom in the game over Jack Hansen. That's just my opinion. Hopefully the Packers staff is watching this and they listen to me. But as far as offensively, we got to commit to the run. Offensive line issues, they're going to clear up once we get healthy. And then receivers, they need to be on the same page as Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers, I'm talking to you here. All right, I get that you don't trust certain receivers sometimes, and because of that, you don't want to throw the ball to him. But if a guy is open, you got to throw the ball. You have to throw the ball to him. All right, I'm sick and tired of it. All right, man. I know you got like these trust issues, and I don't know what you got to do. Maybe take another ayahuasca trip to heal yourself up. But dude, you got to be throwing the ball to your open receivers. You got to give them the chance. You got to believe in these young guys. If you don't, then it's just going to be more of the same, man. You got to trust these guys. Hopefully, Allen Lazard comes off that. I think it was an ankle injury that he got stepped on. Hopefully, he can come back against the Bears, and then we have more of a veteran wide receiver on the field because Sammy Watkins isn't a veteran. Gosh, that guy, I don't understand, dude. Like, how does he play most of the snaps and only get, what is it, 2-3 catches for 18 yards? Come on, man. I was really rooting for Sammy Watkins, but I don't believe in him anymore. Hopefully he proves me wrong. But Allen Lazard coming back should be a big help. Now, as far as how we beat the Bears next week, I said it already. Defensively, we need to play better. Hopefully, we can play more press against these wide receivers because the Bears wide receivers are not very good. And then hopefully we can just get more pressure on the quarterback. As far as offensively, run commit. And then Aaron Rodgers, you got to trust these receivers. The Bears are coming off a fresh win against the Niners. maybe the only reason they won was because the field conditions were so terrible, and that's why the Niners couldn't get anything going and had all those turnovers. But hopefully, Packers can bounce back. Last year, they lost against the Saints and then play the Lions next week, and we bounce back from that. But hopefully, the Bears can be our bounce back game and get everything rolling for us this season. Really, if we lose against the Bears next week, then that's when you start sounding the alarm, start freaking out, because then that's how you know this Packers team is actually really struggling. But as far as right now, I believe we will bounce back up against the Bears, and we are going to continue moving forward and being one of the best teams in this league. But that's just my thoughts. Let me know down in the comments what are your thoughts against this Vikings team, and then what are your thoughts going to next week against the Bears. Last thing I want to say before we head out is Vikings. I am very happy for you, all right, guys. I know that you guys have never won a Lombardi Trophy. You guys have never won the Super Bowl, and I know playing against the Packers is your Super Bowl. So I'm happy for you guys that you won your Super Bowl. All right. But that's all I got to say. Make sure you subscribe to us at Not So Pro Football Talk here at YouTube. Follow us on everything: Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. TikTok, you got to check us out there. But like this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Go Pack Go.